Action.
She could be fine if you let it be fine. Homie, hit the beat like.
Yo, what's up, thugs? Welcome back to the first ever edition of the Hot Cross Buns vidcast. I know you guys caught us last time on SoundCloud with our podcast, but today you have a little visual, see who's talking when. So, as you know, my name's Cross, I'm the host, and back again with me is my great friend, Gioia.
Hi.
She is here because she is the conspiracy queen, and she has tried to convert my thinking so that I think of conspiracies as being real.
I have, successfully.
Kind of.
Come on.
Not really. But anyway, I'm not really that into conspiracies. Like everyone else, go into like deep YouTube holes where we watch conspiracy videos for like 48 hours straight, and then we come out with like the aluminum hats and whatever, like, and we think that everything on the internet that YouTubers say about conspiracies is true. But now I think I have a little more common sense, because then you come out of the holes and then you start rationalizing what is true and what's not. So today, you're going to try to explain to me and convince me that the moon landing was fake.
Oh, that's what's happening?
Yeah. Because I'm on the fence about it. Like, there's some weird evidence that shows that it is fake, but also on Patriot, I believe that the United States was there first, and they were, I don't know, the most advanced in space technology, so I think that they could have went to the moon first on their first attempt. So, Joy, do you honestly think that the moon landing was fake?
Yes. I think that the very first moon landing was fake, along with like majority of the world, I believe.
But do you think we've been to the moon?
Yeah, I think now probably, but like I don't think it's even like that. I don't even know if it's even considered like a conspiracy anymore. Like I feel like most people are like well aware that like the very first moon landing was fake. There's so much evidence to back it up, and
I'll put the stat right there, because I do want to see. There's probably a stat out there. But, okay, so you believe that people went to the moon but not on the first attempt?
no, yeah.
Do you think it's because of technology or because of, like, time rush or something?
I think it's like competition. I think that America wanted to be the first ones to make it to the moon, but we weren't like technologically there yet. So in order to like be before everyone else, we faked it. And it's like they did a kind of a bad job at doing that.
Okay, so here's my thing. Before you try to convince me that it was real, that we didn't land on the moon the first time, I don't know this off the top of my head. Again, I'll put it right here. Do you know when the supposed first mission to the moon was, and do you know when the next successful true mission was? Because I'd like to see the time gap, because if it was only like 3 years, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
But do you agree? Because I know I'm skeptic. I think they were there, because I don't think a 3-year or whatever year, like I said, I'm going to put it, time difference in between the first mission and the supposed real mission, like you say, is that far off. You know, like how much.
I mean, I don't know when the real mission was. I didn't say I think it was directly after. I think there's a good chance that we have been to the moon today, like at this point in time, but maybe they faked it for a couple times. Like, I mean, I don't know the exact. I don't even know when the first moon landing was. All I know is like all the sketchy things around it and like why people think it was fake.
Here's my thing. I think there's some weird things, but I guess they could be debunked. But the thing that pushes me most towards believing that the moon landing was fake the first time was the movie Interstellar. Have you seen that? We watched that together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and remember, like, I don't really believe anything that comes out of like a YouTuber's mouth, but I will believe anything that comes out of Matthew McConaughey's mouth.
He's an actor.
It doesn't matter. He's an idol. He's a role model. An alpha male, but whatever. He said in the movie that he thinks it was true that the moon landing actually happened the first time. There's no, like, I don't know, weird things connected to it that makes it a conspiracy. But in the movie, which brought up a good point that I haven't learned about before the conspiracies, is that the whole reason to create a fake moon landing was to bankrupt the Soviet Union, because like in history it was the Cold War time and the Americans had a lot of tension with the Soviet Union, remember? Mm-hmm. In history class. And the whole point was to show the Soviet Union that we had the technology to go to the moon so that they would go afterwards and focus and fund a lot of their time and money into the space program instead of a war program, which could have been something like that, like military, for us, like a military advantage, while the Russians were thinking about something else rather than the Cold War that was right there in front of them. Mm. You know, so that's a big piece of, I don't know, like a nice theory that I like to think about. But okay, Gioia, I'm gonna turn it over to you. What do you got for me? How can you prove me wrong right now?
All right, well, so there's a lot of things that like people have pointed out for why they.
All right, cheers the audience. You're supposed to salute.
There have been a lot of points made about the moon landing being faked, but the one for me that was the most compelling, and I feel like is just like the most ridiculous thing ever, is the fact that all the footage was lost. And not only that, but they claim that the technology they used to get to the moon for the first moon landing was some technology where they were able to get there in a nanosecond, which is like, okay, now we are so far advanced than we were at that time, and there's no way that we'd be able to get there in a nanosecond. And also, how does NASA lose all of the footage? We're able to keep like ancient pots from like thousands and thousands of years ago, but we lose like recent video footage from the moon landing? No, it's because it was super obvious how fake it was, and they like claim that it was lost, but they're like, all right, well, if people actually look into this, it's gonna be super obvious.
Okay. See, that's a good point. I didn't think you'd start with that.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good. You got to start off strong. I thought you were going to start off with like that bullshit where I could easily, I don't know, have some questions about your theory. But
a nanosecond. Come on.
No, I think
Do you realize a nanosecond is faster than this?
No, I think they said. I think they said.
No.
No, they didn't say they could do that then. They could do that now if they wanted to. If
No.
They kept it.
No.
No. They didn't say that then.
Yes. No.
So why didn't they?
What do you mean, why didn't they?
Why didn't they go to the moon in a nanosecond back then?
They didn't.
Okay,
but
so
they claim to have done that. They say the first moon
They
landing.
said if they had the technology that they kept from then, they still had it. They could do that now.
Go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
That's false information.
You need to educate yourself. That is
Point one for Cross.
not
That,
true.
no, yes,
they
it
said
is.
if we still had the information that we lost when the first moon landing happened, we would be able to still get to the moon in a nanosecond like we did for the first moon landing, except all that information was lost.
If they had it during the first moon landing, they would have went in a nanosecond during the first moon landing.
Why? Wait. Okay. So wait. What's your point? What are you trying to say?
You're telling me fake information, and you're saying that.
So what's your information that they?
Because I remember the video we watched.
So what
watched
about
together.
what about a nanosecond? What?
A nanosecond's like.
Yes, I get that. I get that. So what did they say?
They said
about
that
the nanosecond?
now, if they kept the technology, if the technology and footage wasn't destroyed, I think it was like a fire or something, that they could use that technology and information at this point, 2019, to get to the moon in a nanosecond. But they couldn't do that before. But if they had that technology, they could have improved on it. I don't believe that. That's impossible. There's no way.
I think that
you can't do that because that's more than the speed of light. So that's already bullshit.
I don't think that's what it was, but that alone, it's like NASA is saying that. It's like how they're trying so hard to cover it up. Come on. NASA is where we get all of our space information, and they're right after the moon landing, right after them being accused of it being faked. They lose all the information, they lose all the footage, they lose all the technology, and their argument is like, oh, well, the technology we had back then was so advanced that if we had it now, we could get there in a nanosecond, which is something that is impossible. Can't even snap it, like it's just not.
No, I agree, it's impossible.
So it's like, doesn't that discredit them already enough?
He could have been exaggerating.
No, No, Cross was not exaggerating.
How do you know? People exaggerate every single moment of their entire lives. People always exaggerate.
Not NASA when they're talking about like a legitimate
They're real people.
situation.
They're not robots.
I get that. No. Okay, stop trying to. No, stop.
What?
That's not what they weren't exaggerating.
Whatever. Your next point. I think I won that one.
Oh, okay.
We'll let them decide.
One win for Gioia, one loss for Cross. All right. So a bunch of the other ones were like the shadows. So we'll pull up a photo right here. You can see it. So if you're on the moon, you're getting one source of light, which is from I don't know where, but any source of light, when it's coming from one direction, all shadows should be going the same direction, except if you're on a set with stage lights, which is most likely what happened with the moon landing. And if you look at the footage that is still there, the photos that are still there, you can see that all the shadows are going in different directions. If there's a light over here, and there's a light over there, and there's a light over there, a shadow from like a cup over here will go that way, and a shadow from something over here will go in this direction. But
Okay, I'm going to debunk that right now.
go.
What's the biggest light source we have?
The sun.
The fucking sun. So there's two directions that this photo is facing. There's one this way and two this way. So couldn't you assume that one is obviously the sun and the second one could be the spacecraft itself? Boom, two light sources, two different possibilities.
What?
What?
Okay, so no, but there's other photos where there's multiple different directions.
Okay, so what if you have someone else taking a photo with flash on?
All right, whatever. I guess you debunked it. Not true, but like, okay. What about the sea rock? Debunk that for me. Sea rock.
Okay. Jordan, would you like to
real quick.
explain it first? Or just like, we'll show them the picture. And
All right, so pretty much, someone noticed that one of the photos that was taken on the first moon landing, on one of the rocks, there was a perfectly carved C, as if it were a prop or something. That was just placed there, as if all the other rocks had like A, B, C, all those different props, and then the prop guy just forgot to turn it around, and...
okay, here we go. So, you know when you're in nature or something and you see like a face, like in nature or like in fruit, you know what I'm saying? Like, when oh, that looks like a face.
Sure.
You know, when you say like, oh, so you just see two circles and like a mouth formation.
Yeah.
Okay. So that
That's
means...
not a perfect C.
No, I'm saying the mind sees what it wants to see.
This isn't my mind.
No, I know,
sees-
it looks like a C. I could write
It
my
is a
name. I
C.
could write my name on that rock with that C. I could finish the rest of the letters. But could it have just been a scratch, or could it have just been tampered with, or like I don't know? Could an astronaut picked it up?
Landing.
Could an astronaut picked it up when he took the picture and carved it out
Why would he do that?
by accident? I don't fucking.
Then
know.
why wouldn't they say that? Why wouldn't they say that? Why would they be like, oh?
'Cause I think it's common sense. Like it doesn't. If you see a C anywhere, you could see a C.
No, it's
The
common
C,
sense that obviously.
It's not a W or
Listen,
an A
any
or a
crime
B.
scene,
It's a C. It's a half circle.
Cross. No, any props, any crime, anything has these things. Like they're all marked so they can be put in specific places. That's more logical than what the astronaut lands on the moon. He's like, oh, the first thing I'm going to do is pick up a rock. And
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you see this
and it's
one
not even. It's not even
photograph.
like a jagged C or anything. It is a perfectly carved C, as if it were like placed on there. Cross.
I mean, I write C's every day of my life. My first name starts with C. My C's are a lot better than that.
False.
What are you talking
False.
about?
I see you writing, and I've never seen a C that nice. And your name starts with C, so that's
That's what I'm saying.
I've never seen you write a C that nice.
No, I think that's just your mind wanting to find something out of nothing.
All right, whatever, Cross.
Last one, you got one more to wrap it up and convince me. I'm not convinced.
Well, I don't know. The fact that, like, on the limited footage that there is, first of all, there are no stars in the sky. The one place where you'd be surrounded by so many stars is if you're on the moon. The moon, all you're going to see is stars. That's all that's behind you.
Okay.
Don't debunk. Shh. Shh. And then, in the limited footage that there is, in specific areas, in specific places, you could see, if you pause it for a second, not even if you pause it, like if the video continues, wires that are hanging.
No, I
from
said
each of
one.
the
You had one
astronauts.
thing because we have limited
Well,
time. We're gonna go back to the
because-
stars. We're gonna go back to the stars
No,
because
but I think-
no.
I
Listen.
think- no.
I understand the point that when you're in an open field with no lights on, you can see a ton more stars than you can in the city, right? You know what I'm saying? When you're in New York City, you can't really see many stars because
Yeah.
there's so many lights.
But if
there.
you're on the moon,
But I'm also saying, what if they're taking a high, like, because there's no light there, so they need
exactly.
They need
If
photographs, so they're not
if
going to get the
anything,
stars.
you would
They're-
see,
all
if
the
there's
stars.
no light there, so the one thing that you're going to see the most are the only things that are lighting up behind you in the darkness. There's all these little lights that are stars. What? There are no stars? You
Can
debunked
I ask
yourself.
you something?
You debunked
No,
yourself.
can I ask you something? Don't touch my nose like
You
that.
debunked yourself.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Can I ask you something? Stop it. What are you doing? Don't do that.
You debunked yourself.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the moon?
Have you?
No, I haven't. Have you?
No.
So you don't know if you can see stars from there because, I mean, I feel like you can, but
I think you sound like a cuckoo because you're just trying. You're just.
I know what it
just
is. You're a
trying to-
communist. You're a
just
communist. You
trying to
hate
sound- you're
America.
trying to
You
sound
hate America. You don't
rational,
like
and
America.
You're trying to be like, oh, I'm a smart guy. I believe when that's. Be open-minded.
I'm open-minded.
You're not. You're not.
I said I was on the fence
You're
from the
not.
first second of the
You're
video. I said I was
not.
on the fence.
You don't know your
I was
facts.
on the fence.
You
I
don't know your
said
facts.
it from
You're
second
making
one.
things up, and
What?
you're coming up with your own theories.
What are you talking about? All your shit is nonsense.
It's not nonsense.
It's nonsense.
Oh, what if an astronaut lands on the moon? He picks up a rock and perfectly carves a
That was
sand.
one theory. I had another theory. Do you remember it? Do you even remember it?
You said that the what nanosecond thing?
No. Before that, I said your mind believes what it wants you to believe. I think that's the most important part.
Oh, this is the perfectly carved C on the rock. It's just my mind, it's just silly mind. I'm just what? No.
Yeah, good. Dude.
No. Wrong. You're wrong. It's okay. It's okay. I know you love America. I get that. Me too. Home of the free, whatever. But no. Just no.
I have no words. I mean, if you were less emotional about it and you were less aggressive.
I'm not emotional. I'm not.
Yeah, no, you're
aggressive.
getting emotional, and I could see that. I could see the
No,
emotional side
no,
coming
I
out
mean,
of
if
you.
I'm gonna be
you
honest,
could see the emotional side
we
coming out
watched
of you,
many
and I think that
conspiracy
hurt you.
theories
I think that
for
hurt you.
days and days, and you were pretty convinced.
I was convinced in that in
No,
that
no.
48 hours. 'Cause I didn't leave the room. It was in a dark room. I was watching the conspiracy.
Because you didn't leave the room in what?
I didn't leave the room, and I was listening to all these conspiracies.
You
so
didn't
my-
get any other information.
That's what I'm saying.
You didn't get any other. No. Okay, but you.
So I
didn't leave
left the room, and I was like, "Oh,
Let me
was
look
just-
into this more. No, you didn't.
No, it's just
You're
just
just like, oh, I'm
rationalizing.
just gonna-
You're rationalizing what's happening.
No, it's not rationalizing. That's you just being like, I'm just gonna believe everything that NASA tells me. I'm just gonna
No,
believe
it's not that.
anything that the government tells me. I'm just gonna, no. Open your mind.
I'm gonna wrap it up on that one. You know, guys, let me know what you think about this. Anyone who's watching, is it real? Is it fake? You let me know. Also, Joy's here. Like I said earlier, she's the queen of conspiracy. She has her own vidcast on the same channel called the Gcash, where she talks about alien conspiracies with our dear friend Andrew, who's my roommate, her best friend. Check that out if you want to hear more about alien conspiracies and bullshit facts. Go for it.
All my facts were so
All right,
legit on
Joy, this is
that.
my show. Thank you. And you know what? It's been a blast. This is the second episode of the Hot Cross Buns the first vidcast, second in the total series. So you know what? Honestly, I think I'll do another one. I might stick with the podcast just because I feel weird, like talking to myself. But stay tuned. Keep your head up. And
Stay open-minded.
Stay open-minded. Stay open-minded.
Don't believe everything that you're told.
no,
Like
that's true.
Cross.
No, that's true. You should have your own opinions and everything, but you should.
You obviously don't.
No, I don't
You
think you
obviously
do.
don't.
You watch one Shane
You
Dawson. You
obviously
watched
don't.
one Shane
No,
Dawson
I
video,
didn't.
which
No,
made
I
you think,
did not.
whatever Shane Dawson
No,
says,
no.
whatever Shane,
No,
boop, that's what he
the
does. Boop, that's what he does. Whatever Shane Dawson
No,
says,
the
that's
videos
what
I
I'm
watch,
gonna think.
any videos I watch, they back up the information that they have. They back it up with facts. which you haven't done any of. You're like, ooh, actually, peeks your brain. Does it see?
That wasn't the
What
point
if
of the video.
this?
The
What
point of
if
the video.
that?
The point of the video
Stop.
was for you to come up with these Shane Dawson bullshit facts, and I was gonna come in
These aren't Shane
with common
Dawson
sense,
bullshit
with no.
facts.
With I was gonna come in with no
rationale.
rationale.
All right, you know what? I think it's time to wrap it up.
For sure, man.
Thanks for
Adios.
coming.
Adios. Have a good day.
See you next time.
Yes.